Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Alright, so this is going to be a live coding session. I'm not going to be doing a lot of talking, but I'm going to be doing a lot of showing, right? So, who are developers in the house? Okay, so a lot of developers. I'm going to be like you guys today. I'm a developer. So, I'm going to actually develop from scratch. I'll put it up a website on Google Cloud, and then after that, we're going to build like a whole deployment pipeline on it and see what we can get in about 45 minutes, maximum of 1 hour. So, time check, it's 5:19 over there, and we'll try to get done before 6:10 maybe, yeah. Alright, so are you guys ready? You have a role to play here. If ever I hit bugs or issues or make mistakes, your job is to cheer me on, okay, and give me a round of applause and like, woo, encourage me. So testing, alright. Okay, sounds very cheerful. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Google Cloud. We're going to focus on building a website. So first I'm going to type Google AppEngine, Google AppEngine over here. And so I'm a developer. I'm gonna go, oh, I wanna build in AppEngine, and I'm gonna go here to the documents. And by the way, this is the time where you don't use the internet, so I can actually get my stuff done. So I go here to Python. Can you guys see the screen? Can you see the words? So make it bigger. Okay, then now we're going to go standard environment. I'm comfortable with Python 2. So I've been using that for 10 years, so just bear with me. There you have, and then we're gonna go to quick start. Deploy your first app. So we're gonna go here, and then, welcome to the Philippine Internet. Oh yeah, okay. So now we have that, and before you begin, create a new GCP project and AppEngine application using GCP console. So let's go to AppEngine. Let's click that. Okay, and then we're going to create a project. So let you see that. Create, and then we're gonna call this. Where's the project name? Create a project. Is this the Philippine Internet again? All right, I'm just gonna refresh that. Create a project. Whoops, where did that go? Okay, let's just go, okay, there. Woo-hoo. Okay, so my project name, we'll call this DevFest, BizFest Cebu 2018. It's a really long name, so we're going to edit this one. We'll just call it DevFest BizFest 2018. That's our project ID. Billing account, I'm just gonna use my personal over here, and then create. Okay, so now this is creating, right? Things are spinning up in the cloud, it's getting created, and there you go. And so it's still creating actually. So now that we create, what's the next step? So the next step is download and install the Cloud SDK. Follow the instructions in the Cloud SDK. So download the SDK. I already did that, so that's gonna be a big thing if I didn't. So if I go here, I'm gonna make a directory, call it DevFest BizFest 2018, all right, and then cd DevFest BizFest 2018. That's an empty directory. I am going to run this one, and then it's gonna go, okay, all components are up to date, that's great. And I'm gonna download the Hello World app. So I'm gonna visit this Hello World sample app repository. I'm not gonna download the Git repo because it's gonna take a long time. So I'm just gonna go over here, and one by one, just copy paste these things. All right. So let's zoom in here. So as a developer, you do a lot of copy pasting. That's okay. All right. Okay. The copy pasters are okay. So we're gonna copy this one. Let's go over here. Copy this, and then can you see it? There you go. So we're gonna save it. Call it app.yml. I'm going to go back to my directory, DevFest BizFest 2018. Save that there. Next one will be, let's close that, because then we copy this one. And I'm going to explain a little bit what this does. Okay, this just basically does that in the world. Okay, save that. This is called main.py, just like what it's there. Save that. Okay, and then, okay, save that. And then next, Google, what do I do? After doing that, I test the application from within the Hello World directory, which is ours, DevFest, BizFest. We're going to run this. You know what's really cool? You don't need to copy and like highlight this like this and then copy. You can just actually press a button here. Wow. 2018 people have it so easy. Okay, and then paste over here, and it's running. Okay. Now that we're running it, okay, it's running in localhost 8080. So let's copy that. Let's put here localhost 8080. And ladies and gentlemen, we have Hello World. Alright, let's change it a little bit. Let's make it Hello Cebu. Save that. Go back here. Refresh. Hello Cebu. We have a web application. Okay, this is great. Now, but it doesn't look too nice, so we gotta make this a little bit better. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to Bootstrap, get me started, V3. I'm gonna go here, Bootstrap. Thank you guys, the internet seems faster. You've been really good. Get me started. And then I'm gonna go here to the examples. And then we're gonna look for some examples here. I like this one, it's my favorite, called Jumbotron heading. And then we're gonna do view source, and I'm gonna copy everything there. And then I'm gonna make content variable there, and then put here content equals, and then put, don't do it this way. We have templating in real life, real development life, but we'll just do it this way for now, so you can see everything. Paste that over there. Wow. Save that, and then hide the evidence. Okay. And then refresh. Yeah. Oh no. That's rendering as plain text. So we're going to remove this text plain. So it's by default rendering by HTML. Refresh that, and yeah, oh no, not yet. We actually have no CSS, so we're going to do what no developer should do, which is hot link to the Bootstrap. So here we go. We're going to hot link that for now over here. Save that, and then this one narrow CSS that should go over here. If you know what I'm doing, if you don't, you can pretend. Hide the evidence again, refresh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in business. But it's still just template, we have to make it ours, time to make it ours. Alright, let me just change there, so it's now, I can see it better. I just change it to HTML, and then I will change the title here to DevFest, BizFest 2018. Let's put Cebu there, and then let's copy this one. This will be our, I'll go there, and then the project name, let's remove this whole thing here, the whole header, remove that. Jumbotron heading, let's call it DevFest x BizFest message board. We're going to make a message board, all right? And then we're gonna put here, over here is the p tag, so we're gonna say, put your messages here. And then sign up today, let's keep it there. Let's remove all this stuff over here. Okay, so it's clean, there we go. And then the most important part, guys, the copyright. Change it to ours. Okay, there you go, refresh. Woohoo! With the copyright at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, we have a website and it's ours. Okay, round of applause for that. Okay, so now that we have that, we need a way for people to submit messages, right? A message board without messages is kind of boring. You press a button and there's nothing that happens. So let's put a form in there. Okay, so let's put a form. This is pretty much standard HTML. So what we do is put a form and then a closing tag. We put a text area and then we say placeholder. When there's nothing there, enter your message here. Enter your message here. And then let's give it a name of messages input. Messages input, pretty good variable naming over here. Text area messages input, and then we'll put a submit button inside the form. Input type equals submit, and then we're gonna say value equals send message. There you go. Then let's remove this other button over here. Save that and refresh. Woohoo! Oh, ugly. All right. Let's add some styles here. Class equals form control. Thank you for Bootstrap. Form control, and then over here we're gonna add class equals btn primary. Okay, save that. Refresh. Okay. Oh, one more thing. BR. All right. Okay, this is not a session. This is not a session on best practices. This is a session on just getting a web app up onto the cloud. All right. So now let's enter a message. Just say hi. We send this message and nothing happens. Well, technically the URL changes, but what we're going to do is we need to submit this, right? We will do this by a post request. So we say form method equals post, and then we say the URL will just be the same URL. So let's try this out. Let's refresh it, and then we'll say yo 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 yo. Send that 405 method not allowed. Why is this the case? It's because the method post was not defined. So this is how it works, guys. Let's go back to our main.py. Let's switch back to our Python syntax so that we can see the Python here. And then here we have our get method. So this is actually, so let's trace it back a little bit. In app.yaml, we have all the URLs configured to go to the script main.app. In main.py, which is main, all the way down we have our app, and it's configured for the /URL. It goes to main page handler. And so our main page handler is this. And for the get method, this is what we defined, that this will run. So now what we're going to do is we're going to define a post method just for our form to receive it. And let's test it. Let's say message received equals self.request.get. And what was our variable name over here? Message underscore input. Thank you very much. So we have it here. There you go. And then just output that self.response.write message received. Save that. Let's see if this works. It should work well. So let's remove this. Refresh and say, what's up, Cebu? And then send message. What's up, Cebu? Wow, pretty cool. Not? What happened to your encouragement? Okay. I'm not so pleased. We're not so happy with that anymore. Well, okay. Let's not just display it. Let's save it in a database. Okay? And then let's display it afterwards. So let's do that. So instead of responding here, what we'll do is save to database, and then redirect to front page. Okay. So we will use the Google AppEngine or the Google Cloud Datastore. So we can do it from google.appengine.ext, and it's as easy as importing a library or a module. So we say class messages, message, ndb.model. You guys see? Great. Okay, and then we say text equals ndb.text property, and then we say created, just so that we have timestamp, datetime property, and then auto now add equals true. So that will create a timestamp on when it's added. Okay, so we save it by just doing this. We instantiate this, so we say msg equals message, and then we say that's a new message basically. Message.text, copy that, equals message received, and then we save it. And we save it by saying msg.put. We don't need to assign a value here because it will automatically assign when saving, when running .put. Okay, and then we redirect to the front page self.redirect, and then front page over there. So here we go, we save that, we refresh this, and we say, woohoo! Send message, and wow, we're back to the front page, probably worked. Let's see if it actually saved to our database. So here we have a local database. Well, it's supposed to be displayed here, but it's in localhost 8000. This is like the SDK admin side on the local. Okay. So we have here Datastore viewer, and lo and behold, we have, well, let's delete this one. This was from my demo. Okay. When I practice. So let's try it again. Yo, send message. And here we go, refresh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, yo, round of applause, please. Thank you very much. But that's really lame, right? Like if you enter a message here, you say hello, and then you just say, hey, trust me, it's in the database, but I'm not gonna show it to you. Pretty lame. So now we have to show the messages down here at the bottom. We're gonna show it over here. As they are in the database. So what we're going to do is we're going in here. Let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do is insert somewhere here, over here. Let's call it, I'm just going to insert a place where we can insert some variables. So we'll say content plus equals hello, right? And so this one is content plus equals the rest of it, the content, and then we write the content. Let's see if that works. Let's test that, refresh. Yay, so we have hello there at the bottom. It looks ugly, so we'll make it a hello wrap in each 4. Now again, best practices, but whatever. Alright, here we go. Hello, okay, looks better, looks bolder, nice hello. So now we're going to replace the hello with the actual messages from the database. So first we have to query the messages. So what we do is messages in DB is our variable, is equal to message, which is the class, message dot query, which is the class, and then we say fetch, give me about 100 of them, right? And then we say for message or for MSG in messages in DB, this is how you iterate in Python. I really love it. We then just say content plus equals, and then we add it here, plus msg.text, which is the property name on display. Okay, so we have that, we refresh this, and yo, hello, and then we say, all right, send message. All right, round of applause, please. Okay, so now we have a message board, saves in the database, it displays, great. Now let's put it up into the cloud, okay, so that everybody can use it and you guys can upload it. But before we do, let's just be responsible a little bit about it. I am just gonna add some escaping here in case some people want to hack it. So import CGI, just to make sure that we don't put some scripts in that you in my demo. Alright, CGI get escape. By the way, once this goes up online, please don't post any weird stuff, okay? This is being recorded, live streamed, and so don't, alright? Okay, don't even think about it, alright? So we have that CGI, same message of text, and then we refresh. Okay, things are still looking good. Now to deploy. How do you deploy? Dun 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 dun. Deploy your app. Cloud app deploy. Alright, so we press that copy button, and then we go over here, we stop it, and then I'm gonna press Cloud app deploy, and then woohoo! Here we go. Oh, there's an error. Cloud app property requires but it's not perfect. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to manually set I'll just manually set project equals Cloud app deploy project equals devfest x. What is our? We had it here. Yes, the ID. The ID. Yeah, devfest bizfest 2018 over here. Okay, let's zoom in. Oh, there you go. Okay, so we go devfest x bizfest 2018, and then we just say version equals 1. We deploy that. Dun 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 dun. What in the world? Okay, please choose the region where you want AppEngine application located. Asia 1 East, yo, for the win. All right. Dun 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 dun. Come on. Creating AppEngine application in project devfest, so it's now creating. You see that line moving and doing like changing. That's a really good developer trick to show progress. Okay. So usually, what I do at this point is I just wait, right? And then it's done. Yay! Do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. I want to continue deploying. So now it's deploying to the cloud. It's deploying in Google AppEngine. It's now, we'll just have to wait. How long do I have to keep this going, Google? Alright, so this is actually every developer experience, right? This is true to live coding, developer experience. You know, no behind the scenes, no smokes and mirrors, just this is what you'll experience. Alright, yay, we're great! It's live. So what we have to do is just go to devfest 2018, devfestbizfest2018.upspot.com, and ladies and gentlemen, we have Una Nami YOLO. Oh, some people knew this, okay? So we say, hello there. Send message. Hello there. Paano mo nasabi? Alright, so now it's actually live. If you go to devfest2018.upspot.com, you're gonna see this and you can enter your own message, right? So this is actually live, right? Guys, this is already up in the cloud. So round of applause. Woohoo! Okay. Sexy Albert. Alright, this is about the same time that things go here. So we're going to now start. We've already created the database. We're using Google Cloud Datastore, putting messages in it, and then we're now displaying it over here. The next thing we're going to do is how do you let developers use this, right? We're going to create a build pipeline, right? And we're going to do this very simply. So first of all, I'm going to create a Bitbucket repo. We're going to get serious, okay? Bitbucket repo, this is how you do it if you're legit. So I'm going to create a repository, and then I'm going to say DevFest, I have to type this for a long time, DevFest, BizFest 2018, copy that. And then I'm going to create a repository. So this is where you host your code. So I'm going to, so over here, I'm going to run git init to initialize our repository, and then I'm gonna git remote at origin my repository, and I'm going to git add everything, add git status. Let's see, git push or git commit -m initial commit. All right, and then we're going. Oh no, there. Okay, git push origin master. So now it's going to push the code into the repository, and then I can share the repository to my friends. So now let's refresh this. We have this here now. Now what I want to do is every time we push to this repository in master branch, we want it to automatically deploy to Google AppEngine, right? So I don't have to manually deploy every single time. How do we do that? Ta-da! We go to Google Cloud here, and then we just type cloud source repository. So we're gonna do two things. So we're going to mirror our repository from Bitbucket to Google Cloud. Go to Google Cloud source repositories, and then we're going to use Google Cloud build to automatically build stuff into and deploy it into AppEngine. So we're gonna press get started, API not enabled. I have to enable API. So I am now enabling API. Alright. And then, oh, it's already enabled. Wow, yay. So I enabled it successfully. So now we go back to, we press back. Sorry, I pressed too many tabs. And then, okay, source. There you go. And then we're going to mirror our repository from Bitbucket. So we press get started. Okay, repository name, DevFest X BizFest 2018. Create that. So now, source repository is creating that, and then we're going to mirror it. By mirror, every time I push the Bitbucket, it's also going to reflect in here. So push code, clone your plug, automatically mirror from GitHub or Bitbucket. We're gonna choose that, okay? And then select hosting service, Bitbucket, and I'm gonna connect. This is the part where it will let me choose and it will load all the Bitbucket repositories in our company, which is so many. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit. Awkward. Alright, so it's basically pulling the list of repositories from Bitbucket, and we have a lot. And there you go. So we're gonna type, there you go, DevFest, there, that one. Now I consent to Google collecting and storing. Yes, I consent to whatever needs to be done. Okay, my authentication token, or provided connected repository service. So there, Google is connecting it. And then in a little time, we should have a mirrored repository. I'm running out of tunes. Okay, so here we have already, there you go, BY. So if you can see, we have our code over here. There you go. So now the next thing we need to do is set up Google Cloud Build. So we go to Cloud Build, all right? And we have to also enable this. Enable Cloud Build API. So remember, the goal is to push to Bitbucket, and it automatically appears in Google Cloud AppEngine. All right. So now we go to build triggers, and then we set this up. So create trigger. So our source, we want it to be cloud source repository. And then we want DevFest X BizFest, yes. So far I'm just really just clicking, right? Branch, I want it to be master. You can even do it wildcard. And then I want to specify cloud build.yaml. So the cloud build.yaml is like your build configuration file for cloud build. So I'm going to say that. And then I'm going to create a trigger for that. Now we don't have a cloud build.yaml yet. So we're going to create one. Okay, so we have that. And then we're going to create one here, over here. So good thing I have somewhere I can copy paste from. All right. So here we go. So what does this do? This is the Cloud YAML. We just import the G-Cloud image or use that. And then we run Google G-Cloud app deploy app.yaml version equals app revision underscore ID. It will run on the same project, so the project will already be set. The revision ID here is actually the revision ID of the Git commit. Okay, so we save this, we call it cloud build.yaml, and then we put it in here in our folder. We save that, and now we push. Git add, git status, let's just see, okay, there you go. Git commit minus m, add cloud build, very useful commit message. Git push origin master. And now what this should do is automatically, it goes to Bitbucket, it mirrors the cloud source repository, it sets off the trigger in cloud build, and let's see if it actually does that. Okay? So we have your build history, and ta-da! There's something happening! Woohoo! It's actually working. It's in progress. So let's look at the logs, show newest log first, and it says error build step 0, failed exit status 1. Oh no. This is your key, guys. Okay, so now we like very good developers, we will now read the error message. Okay, gcloud.service does not have permission to access app. The AppEngine admin API has not been used. Okay, enable it by visiting this URL. So great. So we just copy this, and then we're actually doing well on time. Okay, so we enable it over here. AppEngine admin API. Enable enabling API. Okay, so now let's enable. What do I do next, Google? I go over here and then we will retry it. So we just press here retry. So it's now retrying. In progress again. In progress. Let's look at the logs. Failed again. Okay, permissions error, it doesn't have permissions. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google Cloud IAM. So IAM and admin, this is the part where you provide permissions to both service accounts and to developers and other users of your application. So over here, we're going to give Cloud Build the AppEngine admin permission. Add another role, AppEngine admin. AppEngine admin. Okay, we save that. It's added over there, and finally we're gonna try to retry again. Okay, let's retry this. Build failed. Okay, retry. Will we succeed this time? Will Albert make it? Will we be in the same place as before? Updating service, file upload done. Uploading 2 files to cloud storage. Things are happening unlike before. And we're done. Woohoo! Okay, great. So this is done. So now let's check out our AppEngine dashboard and versions over here. So now if you look at our versions in AppEngine, you can run multiple versions of your app. So we had version 1 a while ago, which was deployed by me manually from my computer. Now we have this other version that's been served, that's currently serving, deployed by Google Cloud Build. So if you make an edit, it will automatically reflect after the whole build process completed, without us having to do anything else other than a git commit and then push. All right. So first, I am gonna check this out, and I am super scared of what are the messages in here now. Can anybody tell me if I should show it or not? Okay, we'll refresh it. Ooh! Okay, it's not so bad. Thank you. Please be responsible. All right? Okay, so that's good. Okay, so we have this. Now I want to say, hey, you know what? I wanna find out who these people are. All right? So I'm gonna go and implement a login system where they have to log in with Google Login, and then I'm also gonna implement HTTPS. All right? And also I'm gonna add some logging so that I can see the log. So let's do that all in one go. So we have here in main.py, we're going to import logging. And then we're going to say over here, logging dot debug the message received. So it's just gonna put it there. All right. So it will just log what the message was received. Of course, we can look at a database. We can also do that, but we can also just log other stuff like, you know, the daytime that now, for example. But we don't really need it because it's already logs. But anyway, so we just log the message received. Okay, so now that we have that, we have the logging, we want to do the HTTPS. So we just add one thing here called secure always. That's it. And everything in this URL will be under HTTPS. And then we also add login required. And then that's it. We now have Google logins on this URL. So let's save it. And then all we have to do to get this deployed is what? Just git push, git commit and push. But before that, I also want to change the button just so that we can see the changes, right, visibly. So let's look for our button and let's change it from button primary to button success. So it's going to change from blue to green. Okay, so we know when the changes happen. All right. So we go back here. We say git add everything. Git status. Let's just see git commit -m. Implement security. Then git push origin master. All right. So now it's just pushing. Let's watch as it happens. Let's go to cloud build. Cloud build. Where are you? Build. And we don't even need to watch this actually. But we just go to cloud build and we can see it in action. We have the history. So now something's happening, right? Without me having to do anything. We go in, we can see the logs as this happened. Right? We don't need to. But yeah, just so that you can see it. And then, so it's still in progress, and then we can just watch it here on AppEngine as it will arrive. Okay. So versions. Okay, so we have the second one up already. So it's already there, and then it has a traffic allocation already 100%, so the traffic has been migrated. So now what we need to do is just see if we can refresh this one. So I'm going to open Incognito over here, and then see this. Mag-sign in. Gamitin ang inyong Google account. I'm going to translate to English so that I'm safe. Now, just so that the people watching from the live stream can understand this. So I'm going to enter my email. Number it's synth. I'm going to enter my password. And then, yeah, security key. Alright. Okay. By the way, Google uses the security key, the Titan security key that you can enable as well on your Google account. Anyway, so Albert said, I will allow an application requesting your permission. So this is the app. And then we are now in, hi Glenn Gooden, notice me please. All right. So whoever you are, Glenn Gooden, somebody's asking for your attention. So now it's green, as you notice. Now it's green, it's ready to be applied. Now let's just say somebody deployed bad code, right? Like, oh no, my goodness, and you're not yet sure how you can fix it right away. Because in order to fix it, you have to go in and fix it, right? And the code, and then deploy it into push it to the bucket, and then kick out the build pipeline. That might take some time, 2 minutes. But so you don't have enough time. So what you can actually do is go to versions, click the previous working version, and then press migrate traffic, migrate everything. And just like that, Google AppEngine will will migrate your traffic to a previous, not previous, but the other version of your code. In this case, it was a previous version, but you can move it from previous to forward to backward, whatever you want. But the point is, it's moving from one version to another, and you control the traffic there. So for example, if we visit our DevFest, this one over here, let's close it. Let's close one right here. Oh, it's secure. Because I didn't refresh this one. Let's go to Incognito again. Go back in here. Actually, it's not. Oh, why did it not become secure anymore? Because we rolled back, right? We chose another version. So now it's back to blue, right? So we can then move forward again and do this, or we can deploy new code and be like, I actually want to say the word send message, make it send message with a capital M, and then git add everything, git commit -m, OC in me is acting up. Okay, and then git push, and then git push origin master. Okay, and so while that's pushing, I'm going to show you the logs. Okay, the logs over here, so yeah, something goes wrong, I go to the logs over here, and then now I can see this. This is the logs view, and I can see load new logs, and so let's see here. if we have any, we can change the log level to debug, so it will not only show me all the ones we debug, like we did logging.debug, right? So let me see if I can zoom in here more. Oh no, it's not so good. All right, so we have here, and then we have the post, and then we go, so this one is, and there's a log message, subscribe to what to play channel. Somebody's taking advantage. So this is the logging already that we put, that we're logging every single message. So you can put it here, it will help you, it will show you also other, like the headers, the user agent, and even the IP address. All right, so this is the log, these are the logs. Okay, so yeah, let me wrap up. So what did we do? Let me Google Cloud. Let me see. Okay, so what did we do? Let me just put it here. So what did we do? We created a website or web application in AppEngine. We did it locally first. We run, saved some messages to the Datastore locally. We then we deployed this into Google AppEngine. We then set up a deploy build pipeline. So from our Bitbucket load to the source repository, you can do it with GitHub as well. And then kicks off automatic build, so you can have multiple developers working on it at the same time and automatically deploys. I've also showed you how to do versioning on AppEngine, right? And that's so convenient, right? That you can just like select a version, we'll do that, migrate your traffic to that, and then also the logging mechanism behind it. So yeah, I hope that there's so much more. That's actually just a tiny fraction of what Google Cloud services are there. There's still Google Cloud Functions, there's even BigQuery for big data, so much more out there. But obviously there's not enough time to show it all today, but I hope I've been giving you a taste of, well, I didn't click actually, I thought I was going to go to Google Cloud. I hope I was able to give you a taste of what Google Cloud can do for your developers and your operations. So yeah, thank you very much guys.